Welcome to Summit Spectacular. If you're looking to build your online business quickly and efficiently, Summits can do that for you. If you haven't already upgraded, make sure you do, so you can watch the content repeatedly for the most benefit, plus receive some amazing bonus VIP gifts. If you're already a VIP, then congratulations to you on putting your business into the express lane. Share in the Facebook group your thoughts and what type of summit you want to host. You may even find some speakers there. Work together to grow stronger. Enjoy this presentation and don't forget to take notes. Welcome to the Summit Spectacular. We are sharing all sorts of great information about hosting summits, and now I have with me Joyce Vanderlely. So welcome, Joyce.
I am so happy to be here, Larissa. Really, thank you so much for inviting me. I cannot wait to share. Yeah.
Yes, I'm excited too because, of the work that you do, and I feel like we're going to do a lot more together in the future. So this is a great start. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I am originally from Holland, the Netherlands, small country in Europe. In 1995, I moved to the other side of the world, to New Zealand, in pursuit of a better quality of life. So my partner and I, we traveled a lot. We worked really, really hard in, the European hamster wheel. I guess that a lot of North Americans, a lot of our audience will recognize that, you sort of get trapped into this hamster wheel, like work hard, work long hours, make money, pay the bills, do all the things that are expected of us, society, our upbringing. That's just how most of us live. And I have always been a creative, and I've always tried to escape. So my life has always been a little bit of some call it a roller coaster. Yes, there are ups and downs. I prefer to describe it as a slalom or a dance. You sort of sway a little bit to this side, and then you go back to this side, and eventually I recognize that my direction was always in a certain angle. And I don't know if like a compass on a boat. If you set a compass, and if a compass is 1 degree off, like you may set it in a certain direction, but your compass may be just a little tad off, then after a long while, you end up in a totally different place. So I think that swaying, it's sort of like course correction all the time. And we traveled a lot, and we saw all these different places in the world, and everything was beautiful. And every time we came home, it was like, oh, do we really want to stay here? And especially my creative heart, I always felt like I belonged somewhere else. I don't know why. And so in 1995, we immigrated. And so I'm now I'm hanging off the other end of the world. And yes, New Zealand is a beautiful place in the world, and there's more space for everybody, and it's very inspirational. And I feel that there is somehow a deeper connection with our Mother Earth here, for me at least. But it's also a very thinly populated country. So, you can move yourself away, but you take your thoughts and your everything with you. And so certain things stayed the same. And I, silly enough, recreated that hamster wheel pretty fast. And even, without me being really conscious about it. And so you get trapped into that doing, working, trying to fit in again, and it actually took the earthquakes in 2010, 2011 for me to really wake up and go like, hello, what are you doing? So you can, and I see this with my clients all the time as well. We try to go our own way, but we're constantly being pulled back into what is what we're supposed to do or what is expected of us. And so that's been quite a struggle or quite a challenge, and yeah, now I talk about it as a dance, it's nicer. I try to find nice ways to describe challenges in life, and so that everything feels more like an adventure, because actually life is an adventure, whatever you experience. But yeah, so after the earthquakes, and we moved to another island. Yeah, there are 2 islands here. So we moved away because we had almost nothing left, and 2 kids by that time. So I had to start all over from scratch, really, and at that moment, how everything just worked out. It turned out that I would take on more of the work. We reversed roles. My partner stayed home to look after the house, to look after the kids, do the cooking. He loves cooking, so it's really good. It's a win-win. um, but yeah, so I dove into like really, really focused on my creativity as a business, because that experience really, it was like the big aha moment everybody talks about. It was like, I'm not going to go back into another hamster wheel. I'm not going to do another office job because it pays the bills. I really want to only do things that I love. And creativity, creative expression is the thing for me. I feel that everybody is creative. Everybody has creativity in them. And we lose our creative expression, or we are trained, we are educated to lose a lot of our creative expression as we grow up. And so I like to keep that alive for everybody. And so that you can feel the power, the medicine that creative expression actually is, regardless whether it's painting or music or dancing, or, there's so many ways that you can creatively express yourself. But that is where your medicine is. That is where your power is. It's free, it's infinite, it's the safest addiction you can have, Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm supporting my family with my creative business. And as I said, New Zealand is a thinly populated country. So I needed to find a bigger audience. And so that brought me online more. Of course, living so far away from most of my family and friends that I grew up with, I was online. I mean, it's not that I've never been on the internet, or but I'm an introvert, and I've always been quite a shy person, and perhaps a lot of creatives can resonate with that. That we're a bit more sensitive, we're a bit more loners, probably, lone wolf type people. So I had to overcome quite a few of my fears or blocks, or whatever you want to call them, to even be comfortable presenting myself in, speaking like this, and just appearing, being visible. So yeah, so that whole journey, it's another adventure. And I love it now, for what it is. Yeah. So that's why I'm here. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So in what you do now, you actually do host summits, right? And so what is one tip that you feel everyone needs to know about summits?
That it needs to be fun for you too. Yeah.
That's a good one.
So a lot of what I have, I sort of stumbled into summits because I wanted to go online. And I wanted to, I came across somebody that said, oh, the best thing to do is build your tribe first, and I go, build my tribe. Okay. And so she said, if you start there, then you have an audience, and then you can start talking to people. It feels better than speaking into a anonymous camera and then just hope that somebody may watch it. So I understood what she said, and so I started doing my first summit, and it was so there's so many parts to a summit that it feels like a big machine. It feels like a huge machine, and it feels like there's not a lot of space for creative flexibility, and I like to break rules all the time. I like to, if they say you cannot use this with this, I always want to try why, what happens if you do. And so with rules and strategies and plan, all these structured things, I always go like, really, does it have to be that way? It feels so, it almost feels like a job, and I don't want to do that. I want to find another way. So but the first one, I just followed her rules and did all the steps like that. But there were certain parts that I loved and certain parts that, found scary, like the talking and the interviewing in the beginning. But you get used to that. You can practice that. But then there were certain parts of it that I really did not like. And I thought, does this have to be this way? Can I do it slightly different maybe another time? And so I started tweaking them to my own, I always, with all the things that I do, I always say, like, you weave your own carpet, like your own magic carpet. And I think that, every person's magic carpet has different threads. So mine may have a few blue and golden threads, and yours may have a few red ones in the mix. You don't know, whatever meaning you give to those threads, but your carpet will be different than mine. So certain parts that you really, really love, you will do more of automatically, or you feel, it just fits, it just gels. And other parts feel more, it's harder going. It feels like something is holding you back and you want to move forward, and it's just all hard. So I feel like if you can tweak it to your ways, then you can make it enjoyable. It needs to be another adventure. It needs to be a fun thing to do. And if you do it that way, then they're like great, because they're an experience for you, for the speakers, for the guests, for the audience, for everybody comes, that is part of the whole event. They're just fun. They need to be fun. Yeah.
I love that too. I really enjoy hosting summits. So I know it's a lot of work, but I just love it. So what is one thing you would say you want to avoid about summits, or that maybe one of the things you don't like about summits?
Well, so there are maybe not so much not like, but things you have to be careful about. Like, I like to know who I invite to be my guest speakers, for instance. That means that you go on a treasure hunt. You can see it as a treasure hunt. You go and research your speakers. Then you have to go and invite them and see if they are willing to participate, if it fits their calendar. There can be all kinds of reasons why a person can or cannot participate, or wants or does not want to participate. The challenge is that you can go into these rabbit holes. You can disappear into, time just goes, and you need to organize your time. So there are certain things that I think you need to find solid structures and strategies that work for you, and that includes holding time and space for your activities, for your things. And so in the beginning, I would lose days just researching speakers and finding interesting people, because there's so many interesting people in the world, and even if you only look at the kind of, area that you want to speak on, there's so many people you find. And I love to get to know different cultures and different ways and different, and then you read all these people's information on their websites, and you fall in love with everybody that you meet. And it's like it's a big time waster. So you have to be structured. You have to find these solid structures and keep to them, and so it may be something that is challenging. It's not so much that I don't like it, but it's like the hard parts, they're the hardest parts, because I love stories. So I love to read books. I love to watch movies with beautiful stories. So when you meet people in a website and you read their biography, for instance, and their story is beautiful, then you can go like, oh, and what else do they have? And then you go and look at that, and then you may order a book, and then you read the book, and and it just goes on and on and on. So you can completely lose yourself there. And that is something that you have to be very cautious about and very careful about, that you know, and it's something that I would never give to an assistant or a VA, you know? So because that part really, I love that. I love to get to know my guest speakers. And I would say that some summits are focused only on the results, like it's almost like you would say, like some people are in business for the money and some are in business for the connections. And I think that is with summits the same thing. There are some people that will do summits purely for the results, and there are some people that do summits for the connections as well. And I think that is the for me the more desirable part. Yeah. So just be cautious. Just be cautious where you lose your time, where you may, you know, yeah, pick the things that you love, and get a hold of the things that you do, you know, and that you stay on track with the plan. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so true. You can lose yourself, but then you find these all, and then you want to take a class from them, and then you want to do.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. So can you tell us a little bit about what you're sharing today?
So what I would love to share is how you organize your mind to do these kind of events, you know, so that it feels like a fun activity rather than this structured, maybe more masculine, if you want to go feminine, masculine. So how to keep the creativity, how to keep the juicy creative parts into the machine that is the summit, you know. And that is what I hear a lot of women, because I work mainly with women. What they say is like, oh, summit, oh, that's too much work, you know. And as you said just earlier, yes, it is a lot of work, but it is not too much work. I think if you see it as a fun activity, it is just a really cool project, you know. It's a really cool event to put together, and it can have lasting connections afterwards. And I think if you focus on that, you know, that's your magic summit there, right there. Yeah.
I totally agree with that. The connections I've made with people have been the most important part for me. So I'm going to turn things over to you, and you can share all about that. And I can't wait. And I will meet you back here afterwards.
So hello, and everybody. I'm so happy that that you tuned in for this, and I feel a little bit like a teacher at this moment. So as Larissa said, I'm Joyce van der Lely. I'm originally from the Netherlands. I live in New Zealand, and I am a creative, a spiritual empowerment guide and dream creator. I have my work, I'm a multi-passionate. So I have part of my work locally. I have a local studio that I work from myself, I create from myself, and I also hold workshops and I see my local clients there. And then I do my online work, and my online work is mainly really getting into the right mindset to run a creative online business. And so as a creative, running a creative business has its challenges. It has so many beautiful parts that I love for you to experience as well, but it also has its challenges. And so what I hear a lot, what a lot of women come to me with, this first question is, oh, I've got so many ideas and I don't know where to start. I'm really stuck, you know. Or they've started on their way and they're doing little things here and there. They've got a website and they've done some courses and they're starting to put themselves out there, but then they get stuck on the way. And so the reasons that it is difficult to start or that you get stuck on the way are usually similar reasons. And so what's the first thing to do is just to begin. And there are a few things that come up as difficulties, as challenges that keep us stuck or that bring us to a halt. It is too many distractions. So this shiny object that a lot of people talk about, this shiny object syndrome, right? I would rather call it a shiny object phenomenon. So yeah, lots of beautiful things. You could do this. This is interesting. That is fun. That looks cool. You know, as Larissa said, then you want to take a course, then you want to do so many things. And there is so much available for us. Now, with the internet being open, we can connect with everybody all over the world. There is an abundance of things that we could do. And then as a creative, multi-passionate, that's where we can get stuck. Just by the sheer amount of things, we feel overwhelmed. So there's a lot of overwhelm. And overwhelm brings this feeling of being not good enough. I haven't studied for that. I am too old to start this. I am too, what you fill in the blanks, you know, too old, too young, too big, too short, too, I don't know, anything, you know, I'm in the wrong place I live in the wrong country or whatever, you know, because that's been a challenge for me, for instance. You know, I live on the other side of the world. The time zone difference, that can be a challenge, you know, but you can always find excuses or reasons why something would not work. What I like you to focus on is the things that make it work, that could make it work. So go inside, go inside. The first thing that you need to do, and this is the same with summits, right? This is applicable to everything. You need to have a calm, clear, confident, courageous inner being to produce anything. And so the first thing that you need to do is take time, hold space, hold that time for yourself, and get to understand yourself. Get to understand, you know, what do you want to talk about in a summit? What interests you? What are the things that you ask yourself? What are the things that you're curious about? What are the things that you would love to talk about with others? Just, you know, bouncing off ideas or just finding out how to do a certain thing, you know? And so you look at what interests you. You get clarity on who you are, what you want to know, what you want to do, and how it feels right for you. Does it feel right for you to do it in the form of classes or in the form of you know, live things, or maybe recorded things, or maybe things that are just audio or just writing, or, you know, all that kind of thing. So get clarity on who you are, what you want to know, what you want to do, and how you feel most easy in presenting it, you know? And of course you can challenge yourself. I mean, as I said earlier to Larissa as well, I have never been a great public speaker, but I wanted to, I was always mesmerized by those that did the talks. You know, I watched YouTubes and I thought, gosh, if only I had the courage to talk like that person, or if only I had the courage to voice my opinion or my thoughts on this subject. But oh, my hair doesn't look right today. Maybe I'll wait until I went to the hairdresser, or maybe I'll wait until I lose a couple of kilos, or maybe I wait until it's summer so that I'm not so white, you know, because the time differences also mean that it is wintertime here when it's summertime in the Northern Hemisphere. So, you know, so all these kind of things, they pop up, reasons why you can procrastinate. Okay, so when you are clear with how you want to do it, what you want to do, and you know, yeah, I took a whole year of Toastmasters, I classes, you would say classes, I don't know, meetings, to improve my public speaking. You know, it gave me more confidence. And so that is what you need. You need a little bit more confidence. So find something that boosts your confidence. So, you know, if there's somebody that can help you with that, if there's a course that you can do, or a coach that can help you, or as I said, I went to Toastmasters to improve my public speaking, just to practice more. Yeah. Yes, do challenge yourself, but find the ways that appeal to you. And then just begin. You need to begin. So the same with the summits. Summits are spoken. They can be audio recorded or video recorded. You can choose. There are people that do audio podcasts, and there are people that do video summits, right? You can see it as listening to the radio or going to a public speaking event. And especially now with our global pandemic, these kind of events are an easy way for people to get in touch with information, and also to get to know people, connect with other people that you may otherwise not encounter. So think about, what do you want to talk about? Find clarity in what you want your subject to be. And then go and find your speakers. And as I said, there are a lot of people that will give that job to their VA, their virtual assistant, or their assistant, PA, whatever. I choose to do that myself. So if there are people that say you have to get a VA, I like to disagree. I always believe that if I hire somebody to do something, I want to know what they're going to do for me. So I want to have done this task before. If I'm hiring somebody to clean my house, I want to know what the tasks involve, what work needs to be done, so that I know if they do a good job within the time constraint, and if the remuneration is correct. So I like to do, but I really love researching speakers. So I don't think that I would ever give that to somebody else to do. But yes, it can be time consuming. So there are ways, there are strategies. When I work with my clients and we go through summits and things like that, I do have solid structures and strategies for those kind of things, so that we can have like a sort of a checklist. It's still flexible. There's a lot of flexibility, but there are certain things that are helpful, for us to stay on track, that you can do things in bubbles. I always say build bubbles, like you build a bubble. You build a bubble for speaker research, and you stay within that bubble. You don't go out. And so you can visualize all these things as in a creative as you desire. Yeah. But make sure that you understand yourself and then create from there. When you do that, then you can have these bubbles that you build, these solid structures and strategies that you can keep to, and timelines. Hold the time sacred. Time is sacred, so you want to hold that time sacred. And there are a lot of helpful habits. There is a lot of personal play involved. There's a lot of self-care and self-love, because we are whole, mind, body, and soul. Right? Mind, heart, and soul. We are all one. And I believe that if you understand that and feel that, then you can tap into your inner wisdom, your personal power, your creative spot, from where you can make something really beautiful. Your way. Your way. So a summit machine has a structure. Just like a house has a structure. A house has a structure, otherwise it falls down. So a creative business needs a certain kind of structure, otherwise it will collapse, or it won't even rise up, And so the same as a summit. The summit needs a structure, otherwise it will not work. There will be things that are, if you see it as a machine, there will be things that just the cogs won't turn the right way. So if you look at it like that, but then as a creative, you're the designer, you can create the most beautiful palace or the little shed in the woods, as long as the structure is there, it will stand up. And so the same with the summit. And that is how I love to work, is find the structure in the thing that you want to create, in the project that you want to bring out there. And then Be the creative designer around every little bit that you choose to. So you want to get into a momentum. That is the thing that is difficult when you get stuck. When you're on your way and you come to a point where it's like, oh, this is now hard, and I feel like I've come to a standstill, you lose the momentum. How do you get to that magical, multi-passionate momentum? How you get it back? How do you get it back? Again, you begin. You come back to your helpful habits, your personal play, your solid structures, your strategies, and then you pick up where you got stuck. You pick up where you left off. You pick up where you took a pause. And so I think that when you first do a summit, your very first one, I think it is very, very helpful to have a guide with you, a coach or somebody to hold hands, to walk you through this first summit path. Once you've done one, I believe that you can, you take from there what worked, what didn't work, how you would like to tweak things in your way. How do you like to adjust it even more to your way? What experiences you had, and then create another one. Because it's like meeting up with friends. It's like having a big tea party. You want to get to more finished projects. Your personal wisdom desires finished projects, and as creatives, multi-passionate, I work with a lot of multi-passionate creatives. So we are always, or a lot of people always say that we're scattered. I don't believe that. Our interests are varied and our potential is very abundant. So it's the shiny objects, it's the interest, it's the extreme curiosity that is a challenge for us. And that is why it is helpful to work with somebody that is similar to that, because that person can recognize those temptations, because they are temptations, right? I mean, if I speak to a very analytical, business-minded person, they have no idea why I get distracted. They have no idea what these little things can do to my timeline, to my schedule, to my calendar. For them, it is easy. It's like you do this, and then it's done. For us, it's like you do this, hey, what do I see? And then you can lose a day. And I give the space in my coaching with my clients. I give the space for those days that perhaps suddenly are lost. But we also have strategies to pick right back up and move that momentum forward. Because as creatives, we can be very productive. When we're in flow, we can be super productive. Yeah. So I'm always finding ways to the focus, to finally be focused on a life that is healthy, wealthy, and wise, happy and wise. I want that for everybody. That's been my pursuit. That's been my pursuit the very first time that I moved to the other side of the world. And it's been my pursuit ever since. I am determined to live my dream life. And who is the creator of my life? Me. Who is the creator of your life? That's you. So who's the creator of your summit? That is you. Your summit, your talk show, your couch. You invite your speakers to talk about something that you love, to have discussions and learn from each other and share. If you look at it, if you approach it that way, it's a journey, it's an adventure, it's a story on its own. You could write a whole book about a summit. If you're a writer, you can write down about all the talks that you had. You can use it as material for your blog, for your podcast, for your book, for whatever, for your work, for your programs, what you learn. And that is something that I really like to like to add for everybody. Always find something that it is worthwhile for every party involved. You're not just doing something for the audience. You're not just doing something for you. You're not just doing something for your speakers. It needs to be a collective experience, a collaboration, an exchange of energies, and an accumulation of energies. If you work that way, then we all rise. It's like we level up together. You level up together with your speakers. You level up your audience. You level up all of us, you know? And so let's shine those lights. Let's put these little lanterns everywhere so that people can find us. That is really what I believe a summit needs to be. It needs to be an experience. It needs to be, you know, it needs to fill your heart, your speakers' hearts, and your audience's heart. And it's not just about free gifts, and it's not just about the results. It is about the connections. If you can connect truly, deeply with everybody involved, that is where the strength of summits lie. And that is where the strength of everything lies. And that is how you can get from where you are now to making your biggest dreams come true. And if that involves a summit, so that you have a bigger, wider audience, you know, that you can get in touch with more people, because that's always been my dream, is to inspire and to help more women to level up, to rise up, to feel that we are more than the experiences that are perhaps, you know, the bad experiences that we had. Because every single one, I bet you, every single one of you that is watching now, we all have our things, you know, we've all have experienced the things in our lives that we rather perhaps would not have had happen, but they made us into who we are. And they made us, you know, they brought us to this place. And without those, it's like, I'm an artist, I'm a visual artist mostly. So without darks, there's no light. And without both, I cannot paint something that is three-dimensional. I need black and white. I need dark and light. Yeah. And so a musician needs strong notes and soft notes and high tones and low. And the play, the energy, the play between, that is where that magic lies. But the songwriter also needs to be connected to his song, the emotions of his song. And only then will the audience, the person that is listening, connect with that. And so that's the same with summits. It's the same with talks. You know, you want to connect, you want to understand, but you want to be clear, confident, courageous to talk about what you feel is important, what you are curious to know. And find those other speakers that are also interested in the same topic, that you can have great conversations with, that you can share experiences. So stick to a foundation, to a solid structure, and then create and be the designer and fill in those juicy parts, fill in all those juicy parts, that the creative parts, to make it yours, to make it exciting, to make it, yeah, juicy. And so, yeah, I hope this helps. And
that was wonderful. I was listening to you and I'm like, yes, what she said. Yes, yes. So, I thought that was really great. And a couple of things that caught my attention were about having a guide or coach, of course, because I wish I had done that in the beginning. I made all the mistakes and continued to do so, but now have, you know, sort of refined the way, if you will. And it's true about also about creatives thinking differently, right? Yeah. We do get lost in the minutia sometimes because it's interesting and a shiny object shows up and it's like, oh, let's do this. And yeah. I am very structured, but I'm also very creative.
Yeah, we can get totally stuck in a type font
Mhm.
for instance. Yeah. Or a color, oh, is this the right color? And then it's maybe just a shade off, but yeah, definitely, our brains just work differently. And it is, I'm almost sure that a lot of people that are watching now will feel that they are never really truly understood. Like, it's like you never really fit in. And it's not that you really want to fit in a box anyway to begin with, right? We don't want to fit in a box because we're too creative to do that. I love boxes, by the way, but for different reasons. But not to be put in a box. You don't want to you don't want to be defined by a box. But you also feel like it's very difficult to fit in somewhere, because there's so many people that don't really understand this wandering mind, which needs certain guides to keep it on track. And that's just the thing. And and what I said, if you start to understand yourself better, then you also understand your distractions better. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. And you do need that basic structure, but then I like what you said about having fun within it, because I love it. And one of my favorite things is the connection and meeting new people. And then the collaborations we do on more than one occasion. Most people that I have to a summit, we end up doing something else together, right?
Yeah.
And I just love that, the opening the doors to opportunity.
Yeah, and I love it too. Like, I have some of my speakers have come back more than once. And it's like, if suddenly I feel like, oh, I really think that she could also talk on this subject, and then I reach out to them and go like, hey, I'm doing another one, and then they go like, you don't have to write me the whole invitation, you just say yeah and I'll do it, and that's just cool. Yeah, that is so cool. And I know that, once we will meet in real life, because they're usually on the other side of the world, somewhere. But it feels like we're friends already. We have so many things in common. We talk easily. It becomes more like, as I said, you've got some friends over. It's like you have a room full of friends. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's so true. So true. I don't even think about the recording part anymore, for the most part, right? Because it's like, I get to hang out with people I love.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. So, like, in the beginning, I was so conscious. It's like, oh, is my hair, is this little thing right? I mean, sure enough, I thought, oh, I'll put my feather on because I really like this feather. I mean, there are certain things that I do, obviously. Everybody does that. You go to a party, you dress up, you put something, you've got something new, you want to show it off. It's like that. But I'm not really worried about, is this little sprig of hair in the right place? Am I just, that's not, you don't think about that anymore. Hey.
No, you're just here to hang out and have fun and enjoy each other. Yeah, I love that. Well, I love what you had to share, and I think that's amazing. And I know you have a free gift, so we'll make sure that the link is there and all the information so that people know where to find you. And I just want to thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's really, it's wonderful to share. And I hope that everybody opens themselves up and allows themselves to explore and shine. I think that is, just allow yourself to do that. Yeah. Embrace it. Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out the gifts from this presenter. If you haven't already become a VIP, it isn't too late. See the link below. Have you ever wondered about a summit platform to make things easier for you? Event Raptor can help you with that. With a bank of amazing speakers and a platform to host your summit, they can help take your summit to the next level.